And this is not a live or a show that I ever wanted to do or ever thought I would have to do. And this has been ongoing for months, what I have been dealing with. This is not drama. Hidden True Crime doesn't get involved in drama. We stay very clear from that. And those of you that know us know that. So I hope that nobody calls this drama ever again. In fact, it's so real life what has been going on with my family and with me for months that I decided to go to where I felt would protect me. And that was the courts and legal. And I filed a civil stalking injunction because what was happening to me and my family met Utah's civil stalking injunction code. The stalker was in Utah.
Welcome to the Unfiltered Doll, and I am your host. And today we are going to get into Lauren telling her story about her stalker, who is a ex-contractor and friend of hers, okay? Now, she does let the people know that she did fear for her life, her safety, her family is at risk. She is at a loss right now, and the lady on the screen is the alleged stalker, air quotes, okay? Because there are mixed reactions when it comes to if Lauren is stalked or if this is just harassment or a bunch of mean girls. So throughout this video, we are going to get into different examples. And FYI, just to let you know, I do a little bit of cussing around here, so your parental advisory has been advised. Let's get into Christina, who is identified as the stalker, allegedly.
Do we think it's weird when a YouTube channel claims that they have a work history of XYZ, but there's like no way to really verify that? They don't have a LinkedIn. Neither person has a LinkedIn. And I think LinkedIn is important because they can connect the person with the former employer or where they worked, and it just verifies that what they're saying is legit. But I could be reading into it. Am I reading into this?
So that's Christina on her TikTok page, which is dedicated to exposing Lauren from the Hidden True Crime YouTube channel. She does not say her name, nor does she tag her in the post. But on one of her TikTok videos, she does insert Lauren's voice into the video. So if you did not know who she was referring to when she says this ex-friend, you know now, because in my opinion, Lauren does have a distinctive voice.
And it was very clear to me that that was the step that I should take. And I was granted a temporary civil stalking injunction after I filed my evidence and my exhibits before the judge. That was served, and my stalker was served a temporary civil stalking injunction. Thank God. And the next step to that, after filing a civil stalking injunction, is to hope to make it permanent. And that was going to be on Thursday. And then do you know what happened? Somehow, someone decided to let Law and Crime know about my civil stalking injunction. And Law and Crime decided that they deserved to have cameras in the courtroom while I am explaining what my family has been going through for months. The Law and Crime, I don't know, is it a slow true crime month? They thought that my family's pain should be live streamed on their trial channel. I am a limited public figure. I'm just a mom who has a YouTube channel, and yes, I become a limited public figure. I'm not Johnny Depp. I'm not Amber Heard. I'm not Gwyneth Paltrow. I am a mother trying to protect my family and my little boy. And I am a journalist who has never, ever in my life heard of anyone streaming a civil stalking injunction. Ever. It is not something you do. And why? Because It's someone that is being abused, that is attempting to escape something dangerous.
So that was the beginning of Lauren's live from Hidden True Crime, letting the people know about this stalker who we are calling by her first name, and her name is Christina, allegedly. Christina was not difficult to find on social media, with Lauren sharing the receipts and some of her videos from TikTok. You go over there, you can find her and see for yourself what was she up to on this TikTok page dedicated to exposing her ex-friend, who is Lauren. It's now time for me to ramble, and I am going to give my honest, uncut, unfiltered opinion about all of this, starting out with the most problematic thing that was said, in my opinion, when it comes to this stalker and Lauren. Also, I do a little bit of cussing around here, and I can be a little rude, a little bitter and grizzled, depending on what I'm speaking about. So I'm warning you, I am a little rough around the edges, so you might not agree with my behavior in this video, but let's get into, it's about like a 10-11 minute rant or ramble, if you will. And then we're going to get into Christina, the stalker, air quotes, allegedly, because I don't know how Christina feels about being labeled as a stalker. I do think she's unhinged. I have to say that. Let's get into it. She wanted to get pregnant by her brother's comatose sperm. These are the things that were said on this TikTok page that was made to expose this ex-friend. Christina is identified as the stalker for Lauren from the Hidden True Crime YouTube channel, which is part of the true crime community. Lauren from the Hidden True Crime got a lot of her following when she started to cover the Daybell trial, which I believe went on for like 6 years. And as a matter of fact, this is where she met her stalker, who we will call by her first name. Her name is Christina. We are not exposing anyone. She did say her name during her 9-hour live. Yes, I watched the 9-hour live. It took me quite a few days to finish this live, but I'm done. And what I want to know is, if you watched 9 hours, hell, if you even watched 4 hours, do you feel like Lauren was stalked? Was she harassed? Or do you feel like she is in the middle of a flight or fight? Is she in a moment of, oh my God, I have to protect my reputation, my brand, my image? Because a lot of us go to work and we are professional. And when we get off of work, guess what? Some of us are unprofessional. We might loosen our bun, take our ponytail out. We let our hair down. And when we feel safe and we have some things to say and vent about, especially if it involves a coworker, a manager, or whatever you may be doing for your type of work, you might say a few things that you don't regret, because at that time you're human. That is what you were feeling. And it can be somebody that you love. It can be your own husband, your wife, your children. You might have a difference of opinion, and you might feel a certain type of way about somebody close to you, and you might send a text message about it, okay? But I feel like it depends on what you said during that session where you thought it was safe to vent. Prime example, I might send one of the dolls a text message, and I might be like, oh my God. After going back and forth with one of the dolls in the chat, she really worked my nerves today. Wow. In my defense, there's nothing wrong with saying that. That doesn't make me a horrible person. You were getting on my nerves. Wow, that's how I was feeling. But I still love you. Now, if I send a text message and I'm like, that bitch that was in the chat today got on my fucking nerves, I hope she breaks her leg. And I do mean that from the bottom and the top of my heart. I hate her. I can't stand her. F her. Then there's a difference, right? Now, what I'm saying is, it is a private text message, and maybe that's how you roll when you're angry and you're upset and somebody got on your nerves. But of course, if that message is exposed, regardless if it was just a regular she got on my nerves, or if you called her a fat funky bitch, there is going to be someone on the receiving end of that exposed message upset with you. But you sent those messages, so now you have to deal with that exposure. Unfortunately, because some people will say none of those messages should have never been sent, and you should be talking directly to that person, because you do have some people who are going to do the right thing, air quotes, and not say something behind someone's back. Okay, and I applaud those people. I applaud anyone who does not vent behind the scenes and they go to that person and they let them know, you know what, you really, really got on my nerves today and you're annoying as fuck. I applaud you if that's what you do. Now, more than likely, when you are venting and talking to your people, and it is a private work or just a private friend group chat or whatever the case may be, let's not act like you're talking to yourself. If I call Mindy a fat, funky bitch, 9 times out of 10, you said, yeah, and she has an odor. Like, you are going to feed off of what type of mood I'm offering in this group chat. So no one's innocent in all of this, right? That's why I feel like anytime you expose anyone's text messages, you better show me going to the screen recording app as you go into your inbox, as you go into my name, and then you better show all of our messages. Don't cut, copy, and paste me, Miss Mamas. Please don't, okay? Let's not do a cut, copy, and paste. Let's not do a screenshot. Screen record and make sure you're starting out with the screen recording app. So I should see you leaving that app, going through the apps on your phone. It might be an Apple, it might be an Android, and get to the inbox and show everybody and what's being said. Don't cut and copy paste me, honey. Show the people what was said. Because I know I was in there talking shit, so therefore there's going to be a bunch of people pissed off at me, and god darn it, they need to be pissed off at you as well, because you were sitting there listening and you also had a few things to say yourself about these people. Nonetheless, a lot of people have a mixed reaction to Lauren and this 9-hour live. She was very emotional. She was raw with how she was feeling. She was crying. She was breaking down and letting us know how this whole situation makes her feel. She was fearful of her life. She was fearful of what this was doing to her husband, who has pre-existing medical conditions, and what this was doing to her producer and her son, her 8-year-old son. She had a temp restraining order on Christina, who she identifies as her stalker. And if the court does grant that restraining order, obviously she had something to prove, which made them say, oh, okay, let us, do what we got to do so that we can protect you, or so that you can feel safe. Now, I will let you know, Christina did not give a damn about that restraining order, okay?
But no, that's fine. Con, right? So you can stay at the hotel.
I know, but
just as long as you stay away from.
I have my friends are about to go on stage and present, and I probably can't see that either.
I'm sorry. That's
no, I know. Wait,
situation that we're in.
I know it's.
And this looks like, after reading it, it's a no contact order.
Oh, I've never contacted her.
So, but there's other people listed in it that you are not allowed to contact.
I never saw other people.
It's in the,
wouldn't have
on the
even
second
talked
page.
to anybody that she never.
Okay.
But my point is, I've done that. I have her history of her pulling this stuff before with other police reports.
So when you go to court for this, because you're gonna have a court date.
No, it sucks. This is
I understand, and I understand.
And that can be scary for someone like Lauren. Now, some of us, we operate on a Monday through Friday, fuck around and find out. You want to go to war with me? You want beef? Baby, if you want beef with me, we gonna have beef forever, okay? That's how some of us operate. Others, they're delicate flowers, regardless of what they're doing via a text message or what they're doing behind the scenes. Everybody is not about this life. And I can only assume in the true crime community, You are digesting a lot of dark shit when you're covering these different cases. So, of course, you don't trust anybody. Hell, I watched Lifetime for a long time, for years, and I don't trust everybody just because of a Lifetime movie. So, although you might be sitting back saying that Lauren is overreacting, maybe she's focused on how unhinged she feels like Christina is and where this can go. You know, we're starting here. Where are we going to end? Now, I'm going to be quite honest with you. I went to Christina's TikTok. I went to the video that was referenced when she did the interview with Christina in front of the Alec Baldwin trial outside of the courthouse. And she is annoying. She is a bit unhinged. The eyes don't lie.
Christina, do you wanna do an interview? Do you want to do an interview? What?
I'm just here for you. I'm just here for you.
This is also Christina. Christina and I were at the Daybell trial together, and so you were here.
I'm here for her. Just moral support.
Moral support.
Just kidding. Here to
No,
also see it too.
You
And
want to
moral
see,
support.
yeah, and you're
Let's
interested.
see.
Yeah, let's see.
I mean,
So,
I feel like you should show our conversation last night about how I feel.
I did. Yeah. So, well, that's a great example. I will share a little bit, but I won't share.
You can share how I feel.
Okay. So, well, do you want to share how you feel? I was like, why don't you
Here's
share?
the deal.
Why do I? If you're here,
I went to CrimeCon, basically for you because you couldn't go. Just kidding. But
that is true, actually.
But also, Lauren, I need her to take accountability for not recognizing when you have to be more careful of your space because of who you are. I get it. There's a lot of people with larger YouTube channels who say, I'm just a normal person. I have a YouTube channel. I have a large following. Hey, I get all that. But baby, you are in the true crime community. So that means you might have people who don't agree with your opinion. Right? So you got to be careful, especially when people have access to you. The public has access to you because you do go and cover these trials in person. And just based off of your opinion alone, especially if you usually advocate for the victims, and maybe that makes you biased to certain court trials. And then you have the people who you just have a group of people who tend to start to hate you because they don't agree with what you had said. So that's dangerous as is. So I'm so sorry. After you had a few run-ins with these group of girls, after your friendships fell apart, I do question why you didn't have security. You can just have one person making sure all is well. If somebody's coming up to you and it's a person that you warned them about, letting them know to back up so that you can go and take your seat and do what you have to do for your channel and your podcast. I've seen it at the Diddy trial with Tisa Tales, for example. She went to the Diddy trial and she had her security with her. And I don't blame her for the simple fact she is biased reporting on.
You bullied Diddy's entire family.
And you can yell and scream, but you won't touch me. There's her security, okay? So you have to do what you have to do to protect yourself while you're investigating and getting the work, boots on the ground, for your channel and podcast. She is biased reporting on the Diddy trial, and she's more so there to advocate for the victims, and that's going to cause issues with people who don't agree with her. So I say all of that, and I ramble, and I'm long in the wind, I know. I say all of that to ask you all if you've seen the 9-hour live from Hidden True Crime, or if you've seen people review and react to it. Was Lauren bullied, stalked, and harassed? Or is Lauren overreacting and protecting what might come out on the opposite end of 6 years of exposed text messages from her ex-contractors who were also her friends? Let's get into exactly how she met Christina and who Christina is. I'm going to show you her TikTok. I'm not going to play all of the TikTok videos, but I'm going to show you a few of them. And I believe I took some screenshots here and there throughout the 9-hour live. And you let me know what you think. Now, I will say this. I will stand firm on this. I can't tell anybody how to feel. because I wasn't in this type of situation. I know who I am and how I roll. And there would have been a couple of receipts that I would have to show on my 9-hour live, such as, well, why were you arrested, doll? Well, I'm going to tell you why I was arrested. You know what I mean? But everybody is different. So let's get into Christina. And Christina, some of you might say shenanigans. Let's get into it. So how did we get to cyberbullying, stalking, and harassment? And if you're like me, you're wondering, well, what happened? How did she meet Christina? So it's April 2024 at the Chad Daybell trial, Boise, Idaho. Christina shows up as a fan of Lauren's podcast, bearing gifts, which was a tripod and a smartphone microphone. Now, she also connects with other women who are there, which is Janice, Lindsay, and somebody by the name of Lori. Now, this is not Lori Daybell or Lori Hellis, okay? But these are other courthouse regulars, all right? We're now in June 2024, and Christina starts a group chat, and Lauren, Lindsay, and Lori are all part of this group chat. One day, Christina is in the area. She contacts Lauren, lets her know she drops by, and Lauren takes Christina's kids to the pool. Now, at this point, Christina is not a friend to Lauren, but she is a trial goer. And once again, they're part of this group chat with the other girls, okay? It is now July 2024, Santa Fe Alec Baldwin trial. Lindsay is now Lauren's producer, and to cut costs, she invites Christina and Lori to share an Airbnb. Lauren agrees, and in her live, she says Santa Fe ain't cheap. She also tells her husband, John, that she is going to split the cost with trial goers in this Airbnb. Now, keep in mind, John is a criminal psychologist, okay? So I just want to make sure we make that loud and clear. So, of course, he can flag different behaviors that signal harm, obsession, and self-destruction. That context does matter in this whole situation. Outside of the courthouse, Lauren interviews Christina on a live. It is very awkward, and Christina marks her territory. I will explain that later. I'm trying to keep it short and sweet. And Lauren says later on that it didn't go great, but hey, you know, when you're live, anything can happen. Now, behind the scenes, Lauren is text messaging her contractor, who is also a close friend, saying that Christina's annoying. The contractor agrees and says she's obnoxious. Don't put her on the camera again. That night, that contractor calls Lauren and ends the friendship out of nowhere. No warning. She no longer wants to work for Lauren, and she blocks her. This is devastating for Lauren. She said it was a traumatic experience for her. And the girls that were at the Airbnb, Lori, Lindsay, and Christina, they comfort her. She was embarrassed. She couldn't believe she was crying in front of them. They comfort her. So Lauren admits she opens up to them even more. So by the end of July, Lindsay makes a suggestion that Lauren hire Christina for podcast artwork, and she does agree. So now we have a friendship, a new friendship developing, and we have two of the girls in this friend group who are now working for Lauren. You can do with that what you want to. Fast forward to October of 2024, Delphi, Indiana. Lauren and Lindsay cover the case. Christina flies out again, pays part of the Airbnb, and she takes photo for free of Lauren outside of the courthouse. She considers this to be a gift, and Lauren buys her dinner. But Lauren confides in Lindsay that Christina's energy is overwhelming, kind, yes, generous, sure, but chaotic. I'm paraphrasing. Grayson now enters the pictures. She's going to take notes for Lauren while she flies back out to her hometown to spend Halloween with her son. At this time, she does not know Grayson, but she's impressed with her notes, and she hires her and pays her to do freelance work and to take notes. Grayson is also Lauren's current production assistant, okay? Cool. The red flags for Lauren, they're starting to pile up for Lindsay, who is her current producer for the trial in Delphi, Indiana. So another person that she meets at the courthouse is now entered into this picture. We're talking about Grayson. Took notes. She gets higher. The red flags are piling up. Lauren respectfully terminates Lindsay via email. We'll get into all of the details later. Months later, she sends a cease and a desist. Keep in mind, Christina is still working for Lauren, but Christina is also friends with Lindsay, who was terminated. So I'm sure there's a lot of shit talking going on. You know how women can get. It can get a little messy behind the scenes, especially in those text messages. Anyway, now on the screen, you will notice that I have some tweets from X. People have a few things to say. Some people are on Lauren's side. They feel for her because they've been through a similar experience. And there's other people calling Lauren out. And I am going to display those on the screen. Let me continue. Lindsay, Christina, Janice, and Lori remain friends. Christina still works for Lauren. Now, here's where it turns. Christina finds out that Lauren's been talking mess about her behind her back, calling her annoying, chaotic, maybe worse. And when she sees Lauren again outside of another courthouse, she handles it her way. And at that moment, it's going to set the stage for everything that follows: the group bullying, the cyber harassment, the unraveling of trust, Lori being stressed out because there are 6 years of text messages out there that people have access to. And now she's starting to panic. Let's hear it from her.
For the past few months, my stalker has been intentionally targeting me and stalking me, making me fearful for my safety and well-being, as well as the safety of my family and my producer Grayson's safety. My stalker has also been using a group of people to help her achieve her goal. This started on April 9th, 2025, when my stalker confronted me in the courthouse in Maricopa County, Arizona, while I was reporting on the Lori Daybell trial. The stalker came up to me, cried, and let me know that she had heard what I had said about her, and that 2 former contract workers were releasing my text messages that I had with them during their time working with me. Now I'm going to ad lib, a little bit more here. I actually wrote that ad lib, a little bit more about what the stalker said. I'm so nervous. I'm like reading ad lib. Let me tell you a little bit more what she said. She came up to me and said, I know what you said about me. She was crying, gave her a hug. A few of the things she stated were, well, first off, I want to point out that there was a no recording order in the courthouse, a severe no recording order in the courthouse. Why? Because there's a high profile, internationally well-known trial going on. And every day we are reminded that there's to be no recording in all of the courthouse, not just the courtroom, but the courthouse. And that if you are to record in the courthouse, you will be held in contempt of court. And that there are signs everywhere saying, do not record in the courthouse. I would have never thought she was recording. So the stalker says, I know your ex-friends are releasing everything. And it is horrible what they are sharing. And I cannot believe what you said about me. I knew what I had said about her. I told all of you at the beginning of this, I called her annoying. And I knew exactly what it was and what she was saying. And I wanted to face it head on and own it and apologize. I don't like hurting people, and I want to be honest with things. That's who I am. And so I said, look, let's talk. And she's like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to. And I said, you know what? Please allow me to talk with you right here about it. I called you annoying, and I'm sorry. I didn't know you well then. And I told her essentially that I felt like perhaps at that time that she was further along in the friendship than I was. Maybe she thought we were closer than I felt at that time, that I was still getting to know her, and that it was difficult sometimes to work around her. And because I felt like she was annoying sometimes while I tried to work, and I didn't record it, she did, but this is what I recall. And that I was sorry, and I felt really bad, and I knew her better, and I felt terrible that I had hurt her that way. I was also completely taken back by the fact that a bunch of my private text messages were being released. It scared the hell out of me. I didn't know what that meant. 6 years of messages. And this woman saying to me, they're horrible. They're terrible. Your friends are horrible. They're cruel. I can't believe what they said. I can't believe what you said. She brought up poisonous donuts, Lauren, poisonous donuts in Delphi. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. She's like, you don't know what I'm talking about? Something about poisonous donuts? This is what I recall again. She's the one that recorded, not me. So, you know what I'm talking about? Liz sent it to you. You sent it to Liz. Who's Liz? What are these poisonous donuts? Liz, you don't know who Liz is? No, I don't know who Liz is. You said, Lauren, that somebody sent you, that somebody in Delphi tried to bring you poisonous donuts and people were there and they were trying to be kind to you. And I'm still like, I don't get what she's talking about. By the way, I learned later, and both those stories are true. People in the Delphi trial brought me donuts and it was kind. And then there was another time when there were a couple of YouTubers, Susan Hendricks was there, we talked about it actually in a live, where they were banned from the courtroom and they brought donuts and everyone screamed, said, don't take them, they're poisonous. And that was the story I had allegedly shared with Liz. I didn't know who Liz was. She kept trying to press me, who's Liz? And I said, oh, Liz. Remembered who Liz was. We concluded the conversation. I felt on a good note. I profusely apologized. I told her I was sorry for what I had said and for what many of the things perhaps that I had said to those ex-friends of mine. In the text about the stalker stated that she was annoying. I apologized for hurting her feelings. So I'm going back to the declaration now. And I even followed up with text messages taking accountability. Exhibit the apology. Let's show that. Do you have that apology? Okay, we'll wait for this. I said, I love you and I'm sorry. Thank you for talking to me. I have a lot to process about myself and my actions. She thanked me for being vulnerable about myself. I said, everything I love about you is real and sincere. Everything I judged you for before I gave you a chance, I was wrong. Unfortunately, you can't erase words and they hurt. I'll forever regret the things I said and thought. But the truth is, I defend you to the moon and back forever, and I do. But I realize it will take a long time to earn your trust if I ever earn it again. And if I don't, I understand. I was so wrong. But I know that no matter where our paths lead in life, I know I'll forever defend you and call you a dear friend with the biggest heart I know. I'd do anything for you if you ever need me. And then we'll talk about some other stuff after that. We'll talk about this in Grayson's declaration. But I also did leave court early that day because I had a panic attack about private texts of mine perhaps being released because people were angry at me. It was a very frightening thought, but we'll get into that later. We'll continue with my declaration, the first one. Later that night, I received a threatening voicemail from someone named Liz. She brought up the fact that I had said that I didn't know who she was, which was something that I told my stalker during our conversation. And so now I'm realizing, oh my gosh, she recorded me. Take a listen to the voice.
Lauren, it's Liz. Let me remind you, Liz, I know you don't recall my name, but I actually think you do recall my name. But I'd like to talk to you for a second. I'd like to talk to you about, number one, I guess, why you don't remember my name. But number two, I'd like to talk to you about why you are so upset about that you have sent to me in group chats about other people. I'm sure it's hard to admit that you have said those things about those people, but I want to clear it up with you. So I would appreciate if you would call me back. No, not trying to be threatening or anything. I would truly like to clarify maybe where I'm missing something. So if you would please give me a call back, I would appreciate it. My name is Liz, L-I-Z, in case you don't remember, Liz, Z. Don't want to.
So that was exhibit 3, which was a threatening voicemail, according to Lauren, of Liz. Now, if I can just be frank and honest with you, I don't know if she has pre-existing health conditions. I don't know if she's elderly, but Liz, she did say it's not threatening what she's saying to her. But I guess Lauren is trying to say with these text messages being held over her head that Liz is threatening to release these messages. Because, girl, I'm about to release these messages. You've been out here talking shit. You know what you said. Now you're trying to act like you don't know me is what it was given. But I feel like Lauren, at this point in time where we're at with this video, there was a lot of messy shit going on in these text messages is what I assume. And she does not want these messages to get out there. But I'm going to tell you, if I was her, which she doesn't have to do anything, right? But if I'm trying to get in front of something so people aren't hit by surprise, I'm going to just say what I said to people who were close to me and apologize in public. You know, I'm so sorry that I said A, B, C, D, and E. And it's up to those people to forgive, or they can forgive and forget and still say, well, I'm not effing with you anymore. Of course, relationships are going to be ruined. However, at least you, Lauren, can let go of what's haunting you, clear your mind, and you can move on. There's consequences with everything that we do, especially when it's hurtful, it's harmful, and your loved ones, your friends, and people that you care about, even your colleagues, are involved. All right, so let's continue.
So at this moment, I'm having a panic attack about text messages being released. I'm worried about a friend whose feelings I've hurt. I'm worried about the potential of what this means. Thank you. I'm not trying to be threatening, is exactly that. It's threatening. And I am worried that a vulnerable conversation that I just had with somebody in a courthouse now was recorded and being shared to people who might be calling me and threatening me. This was a very overwhelming moment for me. Very. I can't even explain what I felt in that moment. Thank you to the people who were there for me. And so after I received that text message, I sent the stalker a text message stating to please not share our conversations, that it was private and that I was feeling threatened. And if we can pull that up, there are so many exhibits here. Hey, I would appreciate, this is what I wrote on April 9th. I would appreciate you not talk about our private conversation, which you described as vulnerable with other people. I have done this for you. Yet I am already getting calls about things I said to you in confidence, and I feel threatened. Do not screenshot or share private conversations that are meant to be private. Do not share things that I've said to you in private, because they are considered private. And I reiterate, this is becoming a threatening matter, and I will have to take legal action if it continues. Stalker responds, Lauren, I can confidently say that what you're claiming is false. I haven't talked to anyone about our conversation. By the way, that's not true. I later learned that she did indeed record it, by the way, and then she put it on TikTok. So we'll get to that. But Lauren, I can confidently say that what you're claiming is false. I haven't talked to anyone about our conversation. As for your other request, I think you already know that I'm not the one you need to worry about when it comes to sharing private conversations. In other words, shaming my ex-friends. I'll be honest, receiving a message like this, especially with accusations and threats, really puts salt in the wounds. I didn't expect that from you. A couple of days later, I was sent a Reddit comment by somebody.
So what you heard so far from Lauren when it comes to the text messages, the exposure, the friends that are having this fallout, did anything illegal occur? Have you recognized any threats or any type of cyberbullying? And do you feel like Lauren has a reason at this point in the video to be concerned for her safety? Let me know in the comments. I like to talk back so we can get into this. Now let's get to Christina. I'm going to share some of the videos from the TikTok she created to air out and expose this air quote ex-friend. And she is talking about Lauren. You let me know if these TikToks that I am going to share with you, if you feel like it is a problem and Lauren should be concerned, okay? Now, I will say this. When Christina started talking about Lauren wanted to get pregnant with her comatose brother's sperm, you are now taking it too far. Now, Lauren does tell her own story about her brother dying and what they plan to do as a family. She never said anything about getting pregnant with her brother's sperm. But like I said, it's best that you go to the live and you hear it directly from her. So things like that, okay, you went a little too far with that. Fine, you want to have your video diary and you want to tell people about this ex-friend and you want to put her personality and her behavior on blast, cool. But see, whenever you're starting to expose things that I shared with you as my friend, you're taking it a little too far, especially if you're making up a lie and you're twisting and turning what actually happened and what I said to you. So this is just a screenshot from one of her TikTok videos where she's calling out the different red flags of her ex-friend, which is Lauren from Hidden True Crime. So on her pinned TikTok, she says, let me reintroduce myself. Hi, a lot of you may know me by my art account and a lot of you may not. So I figured I'd do a little intro on this separate account. As most people close to me know, I'm not someone who needs to be heard just to defend myself. I don't need to set the record straight to feel okay. I know who I am. So you may be wondering, why are you speaking out now? For the people who don't and for the people who can't, because I've watched this pattern play out too many times at the hands of this same person. And at 45 years old, she is still getting away with it because people are told to keep the peace. And though I'm only in my mid 30s, and yes, this is a dig intended because I know she cares about age, it's that keeping all of this silent has only kept the peace for the person who has done the harm. I'm not here to burn anything down. I'm here to put a light on what's been happening in the dark for way too long. Silence isn't peace. It's protection for the wrong people. If my voice shakes something loose, good. Maybe it's time. Hashtag truth over comfort. Hashtag patterns and consequences. Hashtag not staying quiet. Hashtag accountability matters. Hashtag grown woman shadow games. Hashtag new era and hashtag her. Now I'm gonna tell you right now, all of this, in my opinion, after I went through the whole TikTok, it's let me just play some of the TikToks. I do feel like Christina is obsessed at this point in time, and there is a way to get your point across if you feel like you need to expose something and shine a light on someone's behavior if you feel like that person did treat you a certain way. But at the end of the day, she is a little chaotic. Her energy is it's unique. She is annoying, okay? And like I said previously in this video, I'm annoying. There's a lot of people, you're annoying. You might be watching my video, you're annoying, and it's okay. I just feel like there is a way to go about this. Do I feel like this TikTok page is a sign of stalking? I just don't know yet. I just feel like it's childish, mean girl, cafeteria, you can't sit here with us, we only wear pink on Wednesdays type of bullshit. I'm just being honest. That's how I see it, but I can't tell somebody else how to feel. Okay, I can't. Let's continue with the rest of these TikToks. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'm sure there are plenty of other things that have occurred. I do encourage, if you are interested in this, to check out the 9-hour live, read the comments, go on Reddit, go on Twitter, or it's called X now. You know, do your research, see what you feel and think. I'm going to be quite honest with you. This does seem to be mild, considering what I've seen between different content creators and different beefs throughout social media with people who have podcasts, with people who are in different sectors and communities, but I cannot tell somebody how to feel. And like I said, we all watch the Lifetime movie or few, and some of the people do give off like a single white female vibe, no pun intended. So yeah. Here's a picture she uploaded to her TikTok, and she said, two-faced, and she said this is her best find yet, and she does hashtag ex-friend. So she's saying that Lauren is two-faced. Okay. We have another TikTok here where she's in the picture with another lady, and it says, be the reason why people believe in beautiful souls, kind hearts, and good energy. Never stop being a good person. And her caption says, who would have known the things we would go through when becoming BFFs back in April 2024? In the end, I'm grateful God brought you to me and the other 7 Gs. I guess it's a girl gang. Baby, listen, I don't know what any of that means. I'm also grateful for all of the people in my life who have shown up for me without hesitation in these moments. It's been fun having all of my people mix and mingle and get to know each other. Y'all are the definition of the words in this video. Hashtag BFF, hashtag good friend, hashtag good soul, hashtag BFS or BSF. So, okay, you know what I mean? It's just like at the end of the day, the more I go over to this TikTok page, it's just so childish to me. But at the same time, I'm really not a people person. And when I say I'm not a people person, what I'm saying is I don't have to be around a group of people in order to feel like, I'm good, is what I'm trying to say. So you have to ask someone else who loves to do a little social butterflying out there, if you will, okay? Now, for me personally, I've had the same friends since I've been a teenager. I have newer friends, don't get me wrong, but I can't get down with any of this. I'm going to just be honest with you, but, there's that.
And don't come over here lying on me, because I'm going to tell what you said, Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike said. Don't lie on me. That is my biggest pet peeve. Do not lie on me.
Christina does a lot of sound bites on her TikTok playing lyrics to certain songs, and Lauren does not like that. She feels like they are indirect messages and they are harmful, and she fears for her safety. Again, I said earlier, some of us, we're tough cookies and you will fuck around and find out. But there are other people, they're delicate, they're sensitive. And although they can handle like true crime and what happens with the trial, and they are journalists, so you definitely have to have the thick skin to handle the different things you have to cover as a journalist. But that doesn't have anything to do with your personal matters. It has nothing to do with how you feel if you feel like there are a group of girls bullying you online, ganging up on you, and making it difficult for you to work. I can't tell her how to feel, but I'm sure Lauren knows that putting out that live, it is a 9-hour live, that people are going to ask hard questions. I know she did not expect for everybody just to take her side. People want to know what happened. How did we get here? Are you telling the full story? What's going on? That's all I'm saying.
You're running late, you're fumbling your keys, you spill your drink all over you, and before you know it, bam, you've missed your train by 5 seconds. Annoying, right? But what if that 5 seconds completely...
So in this video, I don't know what happened between Lauren and Janice. I wasn't there, so I don't even know if it's true. But Christina is telling a story about, I guess, Lauren, spazzing out. Maybe she was having a bad day. And she already told us in her live she didn't really care for Janice. She was not her cup of tea anyway. So I guess they had a little head-on collision, okay? And I guess words were exchanged. Maybe she spazzed out on Janice. According to this TikTok video, I can't really play it because I don't know if that music is going to have a copyright strike. But okay, So are you basically saying Lauren is a bitch? Is that what you're alluding, and is that what your point of view is about this? Hell, I don't know.
This ex-friend just kept going. So I pushed back. It had to get to the point where I literally had to tell this ex-friend, you are embarrassing yourself. The way you are acting right now is embarrassing to you. Like, you should be embarrassed and ashamed, literally. That one moment, it made all the difference.
So I guess she's spilling Lauren's tea. Maybe Lauren doesn't like that. Again, brand, image. Everybody does not want to show that after 5 personality, maybe. I don't know.
Or any sort of story or lie that she wanted. Because people who did play into those rants or those outbursts, well, they were just pulled more and more into her chaos.
I'm about to show you the fastest friendship crash you've ever seen. And I have the receipts because, contrary to what the Nevada Police Department would like you to think, it is not illegal to share screenshots.
What's the Nevada law?
Let me see if I was just doing some searching, because here's the thing. I'm a patrol officer. I'm not going to toot my horn and say I'm a best detective or anything, right? So I had to do my due diligence and do some searching as well. So I didn't copy everything because there's so many laws that we just don't know about.
It started in the morning after I confronted her about all of her lies. Love, apologies, self-reflection. Barely an hour later, full-on love bombing. I'm their ride or die, the best person they know. And then that night, out of nowhere, boom, I'm accused of something I didn't do and threatened with legal action. Here's the deal. I didn't tell or talk to anybody about what we talked about because I had a legitimate feeling that she was going to pull this crap. This was a control tactic, and now I know the signs, and you do too.
Oh my gosh, this audio.
I'll be the bitch in your narrative because I'd rather be a bitch than be the piece of shit loser who treats everyone in their path like shit because they're miserable but blame it on mommy and daddy issues.
So awkward.
Abusers will often create problems to get a reaction so that you look like the problem.
She sent my friend, let's call her friend a cease and desist, and then walked right up to her to start talking. Friend A avoided her completely. They work in the same space, so overlap happens. But the rule friend A made was simple. If she talks to me, I will not speak to her back. One night, my friend, including friend A and others, are at a restaurant. They've been there for 2 hours. As they're about to wrap up their dinner and leave, ex-friend walks in and sits by the door with her assistant. It's a choose your own seating restaurant, and she chose to sit by the exit. A friend of mine, let's call her friend B, walks out of the bathroom and sees ex-friend and says to her, "Do not talk to friend A. You sent her a cease and desist, full of lies, by the way, and she does not want to talk to you." Friend B then walks away. Of course, ex-friend is like, "Oh, she can fight her own battles." Well, duh, she can fight her own battles, but you sent her freaking cease and desist full of untrue claims. So you're making others fight her battle. Okay? Okay. Hours later, my ex-friend goes to the police claiming my friends were stalking her, even though my friends had been at that restaurant first. For multiple hours had been at that restaurant first. It's like calling 911 on someone for being in the same room you just walked into. That's how unhinged this ex-friend is.
I know abusers will often create problems to get a reaction so that you look like the problem or that they look like the solution. Yes. So that is a really interesting.
So in that TikTok, she did use Lauren's voice. I feel like Lauren does have a distinctive voice. So that was the answer to anybody's question, wondering, who is this ex-friend? Well, now you know, if you are part of the true crime community, especially if you are a subscriber to her podcast and channel. So, of course, Lauren felt like that was problematic because she is airing out their private matters on a public platform. But is it illegal is my question to you all.
Of course you hate her. She's the keeper of the screenshots.
The receipts, the inconvenient truths that would burn your false kingdom to the fucking ground is another TikTok that was made by Christina in reference to her ex-friend, Lauren. Lauren did not like that, especially the burning your false kingdom down to the effing ground. And Lauren felt like her safety was at risk and that Christina was playing a dangerous game and she's stalking her. This is what Lauren is saying in her live. In her captions, she says, "She effing hates me. La, 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 la. And I'm 100% okay with being hated by her. Never in a million years would she have thought it would be me to speak out publicly about her actions. And honestly, I wouldn't have guessed it either because until the pile of red flags, we were friends. But then I realized her words and actions did not reflect energy I like around me. And her words and actions about those I am close with did not align with who those people are. And those people do not and did not deserve the crap they had to put up with because of her. So I'm taking one for the team and speaking the truth. Happy to be hated for the cause." So Christina says she is the chosen one to speak up for her friends who have been harmed from this relationship mentally and emotionally, okay, with Lauren. I guess, in my words, is what she's trying to tell us, okay?
But at the end of the day, they have to decide who they want to be. And this one decided to be a jackass.
So she did attach a picture. Lauren is in the picture, but she took a clown emoji, covered her face, and called her a jackass, okay? Again, mean girl type of shit. Is it a little obsessive and weird? Yes. Is it a little chaotic? Yes. Is she doing something illegal is what I am going to continue to ask everyone. Keep in mind, I don't know what else she's been doing. I don't think Lauren is going to show you everything. That's the whole purpose and point of going to court. And I feel like this is where a lot of your mixed reactions, because why are you going to let her get away with what you said was hard, dangerous? You fear for your life, your safety. You said your son is dealing with stress, dark circles under his eyes, loss of appetite. You said you're losing weight because you have a loss of appetite as well. You said your husband, you're so worried for your husband, how much you love your husband. And I assume he has pre-existing medical conditions because you said that this is a risk for his health. Grayson is also on a channel telling her side of the story, which is her producer. And she said she's never been through this in her whole entire life, and it's scary. So once again, I understand how you feel about Law and Crime coming in to film this stalking injunction, which does expose things that does not need to be exposed when you're trying to go to the court to protect yourself. But why let them get away with it if you're going through all of this, is what the people want to know. Some of the people, not everybody. There are others who are going to ride and die for Lauren, okay? Because they have also been through the same thing and they feel like they've never seen her like this before. And you know, when you have supporters and you have a group of people who are going to be with you and they're going to ride it out into the sunset with you, regardless of what it is that you've done, I would use that to my advantage and go ahead and face whatever it is that I'm afraid of. Because this is letting you know right here, you do have people who love you. You do have people who care for you. And you need to do what you have to do to secure your safety.
So like I said, she wanted to talk then, which totally caught me off guard. But I thought, okay, fine, let's see what she has to say. And what unfolded next was unreal. It was like watching someone trapped in their own maze of lies, spinning stories so fast she couldn't even keep up with herself. When one lie didn't land, she'd just pivot mid-sentence into a completely different one, like no shame, just constant spinning. And at one point she literally started mumbling under her breath, having an entire conversation by herself while I was just standing there.
You should have at least done your makeup, Jody. Gosh.
Yeah, because they, and then, right, like, and by the way, that started, they were, like, I don't, it's, like, and I was like, would they do that to me? Like, anyway. Yeah, no, I know. So in many ways, I feel catfish, but it's.
And then in 1 second, she snapped and was like, oh, sorry, back to you.
But back to you.
And this is the part that killed me. She told me that we had to have that conversation right now because I kept repeating, you're in fight, flight, or freeze. Probably not the best time to talk. But she said, no, we have to talk now. My assistant is, quote, always with me. I'm never alone, unquote. Girl, no. I honestly think she just didn't want her assistant finding out what she'd done.
Here's the thing. Expose Lauren already if that is your whole POV. Do you have the receipts or not? Don't threaten me. Don't blackmail me. Don't tell me what you're going to do. Just do the shit. Because obviously this is driving Lauren crazy. And some people will say, who gives a damn about Lauren? Okay, whatever. At this point in time, it's petty, it's mean girl shit, it's cafeteria shit, and they all need to stay away from one another. This whole confrontation at hotels, crime cons, restaurants, in front of the courthouse, this shit is exhausting. I can't even imagine at this point in time what they are dealing with when it comes to seeing one another. But I do know one thing for sure and two things for certain. It is not okay to lie. It is not okay to be all up in my husband's business, trying to check his credentials. That has nothing to do with what happened in our friendship. And you have no right. You have no right to smear anyone's name with false narratives and false information. I will say that. Am I loud? I'm sorry. But I don't think that's okay. I feel like if you're going to expose me with my truth. But please do not involve my family members. Please don't play with my kids. And do not play with my spouse, okay? Now, you've gone too far. They don't have anything to do with this. And keep my secrets to yourself if you don't mind. Don't act like I don't know some of yours. That's all I'm saying. I can't speak for Lori. I don't know who Janice is. I don't know who Lindsay is. The only person I've seen online is Christina, and I'm sorry. Eyes don't lie. Energy does not lie. It was giving obsessive. It was giving chaotic, okay? That's just my opinion. The whole showing up to the courthouse with a gift, letting her know that she was a fan of the podcast. All of a sudden, they're friends. She's stopping over at the house, adding her to group text messages. The whole friend group seems so planned, and it doesn't feel like it was organic to begin with. You have to be very careful of one-sided virtual intimacy. You have to be careful with people who have a parasocial relationship, with people who are online, with people who are on TV, for example. You have to be careful because everybody is not your friend. Some people prey on you, not pray for you. They prey on you for other reasons. And you got to be careful, and you have to protect your space at all times. Lauren feels like she is just a mom. She's out here doing her podcast. She's just a normal person. You have a large following. You have some people obsessed with true crime because of the violence, because of the crime that was committed. Some people don't agree with what you have to say, and they will do what? They'll purposely set it up to be your friend just so they can find out things about you behind the scenes and expose you later. It happens all of the time. You have to be careful of your space at all times moving forward. Hopefully this was a lesson for sure. And listen, we can be good people. I'm a good person. That doesn't mean that I'm nice, and that doesn't mean that everybody is going to like me. So of course there are going to be people out there to say, hey, listen, let me tell you my experience with her. And you got to let them rock, and you got to let them have that. Just like you said, not everyone is going to be your cup of tea. All right. And that's all I got. Y'all let me know what you think. And this is not my typical content. OK, I tend to stick to certain areas, but I felt the need to go ahead and give this a whirl. Bye. Don't forget to hype if it is available. Like the video, and thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the Unfiltered Doll Reactions.
All right, Slash.
Oh, what you working for? Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good. Fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts. I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong. I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth. Can't